Hello from Lambi Beach on the island of KOS. I'm going to do an early morning walk. There's quite a lot of people around. There's only 8:30. There's a lot of people around, and those who've seen my beach walks will know I'm not a big fan of actually filming people in their beachwear. So let's see how it goes. I'm at the town end, so the port is behind me. The ferry has just come in. I think that's the ferry to Turkey. It's actually a cruise ship in. I've never seen a cruise ship in Kos before. There you are. A couple of ships out there, rather nice. There's a few fishermen behind me. And that's the town. So I'm going to head in that direction and see how far I go. Certainly not going all the way, because if you've been here before, you'll know that Lambi is huge. I'm not actually sure how long it is. I shall have a look and put some notes in, but it's a very, very big beach. Some years ago, I came to Kos and I stayed right up on the northern end. It's very different up there. There, as you can see here, so there's a lot of stones, shale, does go into the sea and then it becomes sand. Further up, it's quite a bit sandier. But also, as you can see here, this is wall-to-wall beds all the way along. It's not further up. They're much bigger gaps. So this is Jackson's, quite a popular place for people come in to spend the day. The beds along here, almost all of them, are free. Free provided you buy food and drink. Further along, they're not. I stopped and spoke to some people yesterday, and they don't provide food and drink. So their beds were €750 per person, which is not that bad. Struggling with the stones here. There's a law, a Greek law, which states beds have to be so far away from the edge of the water. I don't know what that distance is, but it's to allow people to be able to walk. I know I've been to some beaches on other islands where they really flunked that law quite a bit, but this is quite nice. There's plenty of room for you to be able to walk here. This is Unique, another popular sunbathing spot, and again free provided you buy food and drink. The water's really calm today. We've had 2 days of really, really strong winds, and this sea was so choppy, so bad the tall ships didn't go out day before yesterday. They all stayed in harbour. These beds are, some of them up to 8 rows deep. They're very, very popular. You'll imagine in the height of season this is chock-a-block. Lots are reserved as well. And that's a good idea, look. Put your chair in the sea. Can't think of a better way to use your morning, eh? You've got the usual towels right at the front on being reserved. But when you look back, if you can see further back there are a few hundred for each bar. There's a lot of beds there. Oops. Good quality, mate. Some of them look really comfortable. The sea is very clear today. I came down yesterday. I was going to do this yesterday, but as we'd had so much wind and really choppy water for quite a few days, the water was quite grey. But this is much better. Alameda.
Was it pretty sunbeds?
No, thank you. No.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Thank you. Well, that's a first. Touting for sunbeds. Never had that before. Someone trying to convince you to go and have a free sunbed even. That's quite unique, isn't it? Excellent. This is Tarzan Bar. The volleyball pitch in the middle. I've just noticed a lifeboat there, look. That's nice to see. Look how far back these beds go. Oh, my goodness me. Very close. Not my thing. I'm not usually comfortable lying that close to strangers, but hey, on the frontier it's quite nice when you got to see this close. These are smart, aren't they? Can't actually see them in this one. Oh, just being a bit girly here. I do like those umbrellas. Umbrellas made of rope. Oh, lovely. That's very chilled. There's a lot of big, what do you call them, bean bags as well. And these are much further apart. This is really nice, this one, actually. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Gosh, this beach must be so busy in the height of season. The amount of beds that we're looking at, there must be a call for that many. There must be that many people who are looking for beds. Quite hard to believe, isn't it? Oh, there's that cruise ship. I've never seen a cruise ship in KOS, to be honest. I didn't realise they came here. I don't think it's a ferry. Doesn't look like the usual ferries. Oh, maybe it is. There's Turkey over in the distance there. If you look on a map, we're actually very, very close to the Turkish coastline. And a few years ago, when I was here, I went to Ross and kept my phone on data without thinking. I'm just going to show now, there's a bit of space there. This is something else the Greek authorities request, that you have gaps in between for the Greek people to be able to come down and not use beds. You see that quite regular on big beaches like this. So we went across on the ferry to Ross, left my data on without thinking. I've just realised it wasn't Ross, it was going to Rhodes, Coastal Roads, that's it, and we went by the Simi. And without realising, my data had picked up Turkey, and I got home with an extra £80 on my phone bill. Yeah, lesson learned. They were fine, they took it off, but it hadn't even occurred to me I'd left my data on, and it was picking up Turkey, because when you look at a map, the top of roads and the top of KOS are very, very close to Turkey, and we'd obviously gone into Turkish airtime. Lesson learned though, lesson learned. So I went to Sydney a few days ago, and whilst I was on the ferry, I had Wi-Fi on the ferry anyway, it was okay, but I put my data off. Lots of people having early morning swims, which is rather nice. The sea is lovely today. Kind of wish I'd come down. Oh, I've made some photos. If I can, the photos show it. I can show you how rough it was. It was really, really windy, and yeah, the sea was really churning it. A nice area there. Is that the name? Oh, it's Lambi Beach. Yes. This is a big, big area here. Oh, Alibaba. I walk past the front of this quite often when I was going to the shops. This is Alibaba. Really big, big area here. And a few cabanas as well. What I noticed here with this Alibaba, oh my goodness, look, you can reserve these. Wow, really? That's interesting. What I noticed was them sweeping, if you like, the sand. So they were cleaning up the sand around the beds, which is quite nice. They also put quite a bit of effort into that. So we'll stop and look. There's a ferry there. I'm sure that must be a cruise ship. It can't be a ferry because it's not moving. There you go. And there's the town just down there. Turkey in the background. Yes, I'm certainly not going all the way up to the top of the beach here. To be honest, it's much of the same anyway. So I'm just going to go along here. So this is what I was saying about these areas that the Greek authorities insist that are left. So when you see gaps in the beds, it's not because no one's come along and cleaned it yet, it's because the Greek authorities have said, no, we have areas without beds, and you will probably find these people who come here like this will be Greek, they often are. Often in the evenings, this will be quite busy with families after school. It's quite popular for them to do that. So I'm not going to just keep walking and showing you sunbeds, because that's kind of all it is all the way. I'll have a little look around the bay from here, then I'm going to go up to the top just to see how it is up there. So this keeps going. I said the further out you go, the more sparse the beds are, and also, if I recall correctly, I think it's not quite as stony. So I'm going to head up from here. Again, another really nice place here. So these do meals, and they've got tables and chairs alongside the road. So what I'm going to do, you see the tables down there, which is quite nice. I'm going to go up onto the road and walk along the road just for this little part here, because I said they look after it. Look how they shut the sound here. And when you're not charging for beds, that's pretty good, isn't it? But a little bit further on, I think it's the next set, they start to charge. And once you've come to the first one that charges, from then on, they all charge. There we go, up on the road. This is the road. This takes you down into KOS town. Oh, there you go. So we're charging from now on, £4.50 for one bed. That's not bad, actually. You can bring your own food and drink. Wow, good. So this is a lot nicer. Obviously, you pay in. I suppose they're putting a bit more effort in, and lots of accommodation down this end. So I would imagine this is still quite popular, even though you have to pay. Again, they swept the sand this morning. And of course they provide showers and all sorts of activities and things go from here. Bit of a different vibe here, isn't it? The beds are much further apart. Oh, massage place. And this is where you pay. Very nicely set out though, isn't it? Very pretty. And here we go now with a big gap again. Oh, well, it's a little shot there, isn't it? A lady sat there with her dog. It's a bit hot for a dog to be out, but oh, he's probably used to it. €5. Some beds along here, and I spoke to the person at the end here, and they are $7.50. So lovely piece of beach here, look. So if you're not wanting to pay or don't want to be laying on a sunbed, there is space here. You just need to walk away from the town. Come a bit further out. Lovely dog down there. Sorry, I was fancying the dog. This sand is really quite soft here, look. A lot nicer. Right, I'm going to stop here because all we're doing is seeing the same thing. So from here on, well, from what the lady had said yesterday, the beds were $7.50 each per person. I said, what if I'm one? And she said, yeah, $7.50, one bed, one umbrella. I thought, okay, that's really good. Happy with that. And going backwards down that way, the closer you are to the town, the beds are free, but you do have to eat and drink, which is fine. Obviously, if you're spending the day, you probably would anyway. I said it's quite early in the morning. Can you imagine these get very, very, very busy later on? Oh, look at the dog running around. Sorry, I'm just fancying the dog. Yeah, and that is a cruise ship, I'm sure of it. Didn't know they docked in KOS, but there you go. Turkey in the background, a little bit further up, and it starts to even out now. It's a lot more sporadic with beds, much bigger gaps, much nicer, but then you're paying for these. And there's several very luxury hotels up this end as well, so don't know if they get it cheaper, I don't know. So I'm gonna head up onto the road. I'm now heading up to the road to go to the supermarket before it gets too hot, and let's try and find somewhere to stop and have a nice drink. So last view around. I do hope you found that helpful. Have you been? What do you think of these beds? Which part of the beach do you use? It'd be really interesting to know your thoughts actually. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, that's so you'll get to prior notice of our videos coming out. And yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you again very, very soon.